So let's get started for our Lunch and Learn kvCORE Level Up training session. So for those of you who have a computer or laptop, make sure you follow along. For those of you on Zoom, you may want to run this meeting on your phone and then log into your laptop or follow along on your laptop. You can do that as well. So I'm going to give you maybe 2 minutes to set that up. This is an advanced level training session now. So if you have not taken the basics, there's a 2-hour session that I do. That's usually something I email out if you ask me for it, or for those of you who are here on Zoom, and you guys will get the recording here, so you're good. But let me send out to everybody the like the beginner session of this, which we did at a 2-hour lunch and learn a few months ago, for those of you who remember that. So a couple of resources I'm sharing in the chat now for those of you who are on Zoom. For those of you who are here, we'll figure out a way to get it to you. But actually, you know what? This is sent out to you guys every week in a weekly recap, weekly meeting recap. So you have the kvCORE live training sessions, kvCORE replays. These are done by kvCORE themselves. Then you have my 2-hour hardcore kvCORE training. That's the beginner training that's on YouTube. So click on that link. And for those of you who are joining here, you'll get a recording of this as well. This will be called the Level Up training. And we're going to be talking more about lead generation, the journey of a buyer or seller, creating landing pages, creating tagging so that you can, or understanding the tagging process so you get what that's all about. And then using all this to create marketing automations using smart campaigns with kvCORE. If that sounds like an earful already and you're like already lost, that means you got to take the kvCORE hardcore training session that I did, 2 hours, so that you can familiarize yourself with the basics. It's not the basics. So I'll cover a couple of things that we're not going to cover here. I'm sorry. We're not going to cover logging in. It's assumed that you're able to log in at this point, because this is a level up advanced training. It's assumed that you know where to find things in kvCORE. If this is your first kvCORE training session, feel free to watch along, because you'll catch up, you'll get it. But you would have had to attend that hardcore kvCORE beginner training so that you kind of know where things are and you kind of know what the processes are. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. I'm going to assume that you know the basics, because in order for you to be able to do the functions here, you have to know the basics, right? So you have to know what a landing page is, because I showed you a glimpse of that last time. You got to know what tagging is and where you find that. You got to have a brief idea, or at least a conceptual idea of what a smart campaign would look like and these kinds of automation. So between this and the first training I did, you should have at least sort of enough to be able to do some pretty cool, crazy stuff with kvCORE. Ready to go? Hey, if you have the problem logging in, if you're on remax.net, you have to use your remax.net email, number one. Number two, there's a phone number there, Aussie, so this goes for you. You can call that phone number. Or 3, use the email password reset option so that you're able to get your password reset. I'm going to assume that you guys are all able to log into kvCORE here on Zoom and here in person at Bayview Village. So you've got 10 seconds to log into kvCORE. Go.
Sorry, I just need to plug in.
Okay. Shall needs to plug in power. You guys are all logged in? Yeah, good. Just Aussie? Well, sorry. It's a bit far. Okay. You're all logged in? Good. Now on my screen, you're going to see things that may be a bit different than yours, because I have the admin level of kvCORE. So I can jump in and out between offices. So if there's anything here that's different from yours, that's the reason why. If there are any features that you see on my screen that are not available on yours, likely it's because you did not complete the DLA IDX vow agreements as yet. That's something that was emailed to you. So if you received an email from kvCORE and you totally ignored it, it would have said something along the lines of, complete your data agreements or something like that. You have to follow those instructions in order for you to be able to have access to some of the features. So I'm going to launch my kvCORE. And the first thing we're going to do is talk about, so this is a bit of marketing that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the potential client and existing client journey, because I want you to realize that it's one thing to know how to use a system, But if you don't know what to use it for, then it's kind of pointless, if you know what I mean, right? Yeah, I want to create a landing page. Yeah, but why do you want to create that landing page? I want to do automations, but why do you want to do those automations? So without having a conceptual idea of why you want to do something, this is all just technical mumbo jumbo. Does everybody get me when I say that? And so when you see a real estate agent putting together a landing page for something, you've got to wonder what is what's the journey and what's the intention, and what is sort of the what are you hoping to generate out of that? And obviously everybody's going to say, I want what? Aaron, what do you want to get out of this?
Boost up my business.
I want to boost up my business. I want leads. Everybody wants leads. Everyone wants conversations. But you've got to put yourself into the shoes of that client to understand how you get that conversation in the first place. Otherwise, you're going to create a landing page that serves no purpose. Otherwise, you're just going to be copying another realtor's marketing, and it's not going to make any sense because you did not define exactly what a client or a potential client that working with you need. I'm going to be creating 2 campaigns with you today. All of the tools that we're going to be showing today, you have access to. They're either free or very cost effective, which means it's not going to cost you a lot of money to do. Right. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of these ideas, and then we're going to tie into how you use kvCORE. So let's start first by identifying one of the journeys that a potential client to you might take. And bear with me. I know you want to learn kvCORE, but you got to understand this journey first. Okay. Right now, how many of you would love to have a listing? Raise your hand, wave your hand. Of course, everybody would, right? Because in order to work with a buyer to buy a house or whatever, a listing needs to be on the market. So some of you are saying listings are taking a long time to sell. Oh, I don't want any listings but think about it. If you want a commission this month or next month, like Vita does, like Vita wants to get paid. If you want a commission, you need to sell something. If you want to sell something, you need to have a buyer. In order for a buyer to buy something, you need to have a seller. In order to have a seller, you need to have a what?
Product.
A product. In order to get a product, you need a listing. Let's create a journey where we are somehow able to connect with a potential seller, a homeowner who's a potential seller. And I'm going to fill in a lot of the blanks for you because we have a constraint of about 1 hour for this training session. So I'm going to tell you a lot of this stuff. You can copy along with it. We want to attract a seller who is potentially going to sell their home through us. We're going to be using kvCORE's landing pages, tagging, and automation campaigns. And because we love technology, I'm going to show you how to take a couple of shortcuts, because we all know we have seller's guides with Hallmark. You could Google, seller's guides and all that sort of stuff. But we're going to be doing something really cool today. Hamid, do you want to do something really cool? Or is there more than one Hamid today? Where's that other Hamid that said yes?
Yes, John Duran. I'm always here for something cool.
Okay, good. So I'm going to create something called, and this is nothing new. A lot of you are implementing these kinds of things. Some of you do seller campaigns, home seller, download my free home seller guides. We're going to do a home seller checklist campaign. Are you ready to sell? How many of you have run a campaign like that before? Are you ready to sell? Anybody? And the reason why I love checklists is this, like sellers know these home sellers guide. There's nothing new to home sellers guides, right? But what's really cool about it is there's only a certain number of ways you can attract home sellers. Number one, free market evaluation. How many of you have not done something like that? Find out how much your home is worth, or sign up for my property alerts. But in order to get somebody who's closer to the actual decision to make a move and to actually list their home, what do you think a homeowner today that's planning to sell in 2 or 3 months is doing? They're doing research in order for them to prepare their home for sale. And so when they see an ad, when they see a Facebook ad, social media ad, or they see a postcard where it's your beautiful or handsome face on it, and you're giving them something that's useful to them, like a seller's checklist to get your home ready for sale, they will likely sign up for that, right? Or no? So we tried this campaign a couple of times, and this has been one of the more successful campaigns versus a seller's guide, because let's face it, anybody can download a seller's guide just by Googling it. How many of you have a seller's checklist of what a seller should do to prepare their home for sale? Javad, do you really? Can you share it with us? If you don't, I'm just playing around with Javad here, but if you don't, go to my friend ChatGPT. How many of you know ChatGPT? Right? So, you've seen me playing around with this by now, but one of the things you can do if you don't have a checklist on your own is ask ChatGPT to create one for you. Now, I don't recommend you just copy and paste it. I mean, if you just want to get things done, sure, you can do it. But one of the things you should do is literally when it generates a list for you, make sure you go through that checklist and make sure it's relevant to Toronto, to Ontario, to Canada, right?
There's a form on the, like MLS forms.
Yeah, those are forms though. Those are web forms. It's not a process of what a homeowner has to do in order to prepare the home for sale, right? So,
Yes, there is.
okay, so pull it up for me, please, Leslie. Email it.
Okay.
Seriously, pull it up. But this is one of the options for you. You can create your own checklist. It could be a 10-point checklist, 20-point checklist, 30-point checklist. But I'm going to say, hey, G, can you please, I call it ChatGPT G. Okay, can you please create a 30-point checklist for me that a homeowner preparing their home for sale might use in order to get their home ready. These cover things such as renos, staging, decluttering, etc. There we go. Here's the checklist. I'm gonna ask for 30 points. I could ask for 100. I could ask for 10. Right? So Ozzy, tell me if your checklist is as good as this one.
Probably not as good, but it tells you have to, in order to get the home ready, you have to check your bills and notify them
Yeah.
that you're moving. Those type of
Okay.
checklist is on a MLS.
There you go. So there you go. For those of you who have a checklist like Ozzy's, you can use that. Create a PDF file out of it, or a Google Doc file out of it. I'm going to show you all of this, by the way. Or just copy and paste this, right?
If we should, you good luck at the end.
There you go, right? You see? Okay. So we're starting to build this piece by piece. We're not at kvCORE yet. So it's sort of a bait and switch. I'm teaching you everything except kvCORE today. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, this is ChatGPT. So you can go Google ChatGPT. It's at capacity because you guys didn't pay for it. I'm at the premium $20 US a month one, but you guys are gonna have to figure that part out on your own. What I said is this: I'm just giving you options. If you can't use this, Google seller's checklist. Ask Ozzy for her checklist. Like, make one on your own. Like, what are the 10 things? What are the 20 things? What are the 30 things the seller has to do? Now, watch. The next step of this is I'm going to thank you, ChatGPT. Thanks, G. Can you now give me a 30-second video script of how I can promote and entice a potential home seller to request this checklist from me via download? Okay. So now it's going to give me a script. So we're building everything up to the point now that we're going to start using kvCORE after this. Okay, I'm just giving you ideas today. Okay. Obviously, you can do it yourself. I am polite. Yes, Roxana. The way I treat AI is the way I treat you guys as well. Okay. So if you piss me off, I'm just kidding. Delete. Not joking. Yeah, I'm not mean. So here's this 30-second video script. So far, what do we have? We've identified seller as who we want to get a potential lead from. We created a solution to one of their problems, which is how do you get your home ready for sale? Right? Yeah, go ahead and click that.
I have to.
Then there's a 30-second video script. So now I can create a video script. And I'm going to say, thanks, G. Now, if I wanted to create this as a postcard, can you please give me 1 or 2 lines that I can put on the postcard to get them to go to a website where they can get this checklist from me? Okay, does everybody get what I'm doing so far? Right? Ready to sell your home? Don't know where to start? Get your 30-point checklist for preparing for your home for sale today. Visit the website. Okay. Everybody get where we are so far? We haven't touched kvCORE yet, but now I brought you to the point where you've got something of value that you could potentially give to a home seller, which is a checklist to help them prepare their home. We've given them something to entice them to get this checklist from you because we're addressing their problem. We're addressing their pain point. For those of you attending the marketing workshops, you understand what I'm doing so far. Now, I also gave options here because some of you like print. Some of you like digital, some of you like both. So you can either create a video, you don't even have to come up with the script yourself. This thing did it for you. Or you can download, you can create a postcard, like the copy on a postcard, send it to Hallmark Digital Studio, say, hey, Hallmark Digital Studio, which is not AI, by the way, Hallmark Digital Studio are real people. Hallmark Digital Studio, can you create a postcard for me? Everybody came here for kvCORE, right? Is everything that I presented so far valuable to you? Does this kind of help you beyond the kvCORE?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So Ozzy has her checklist. I've got a checklist. All of you will have checklists if you give me the 5-star. If you give me a 4-star, you don't get a checklist. I'll take 10 items off that list. Now we're going to do kvCORE. Okay, enough joking around. Now we're going to do kvCORE. Okay. Assuming you know where to find your kvCORE and you've logged in, my job here is now to create a landing page where somebody watched this video, they clicked on the link, they're going to go to the landing page. Does everybody get that so far?
Mhm.
From that landing page, they're going to enter the name, email, click download, and I'm okay with not getting phone numbers because I want to kind of create that dialogue first. You want to share, if I put phone number on there, the conversion drops, right? At this point, the seller doesn't know who you are. They don't care who you are at this point. They care about what their needs are. And if you're able to, as a, spoiler alert, we're going to do more stuff in order for you to be able to create a nurturing environment that they're going to be able to trust you. They're going to know you, like you, and trust you at the end of this. But once they're in that whole journey with you, you're going to see how much more effective it is to get their phone number eventually, right? And so what we're going to do, Roxana, just give me a few seconds. I'm going to set everybody up for this, and then we can answer your question, is we're going to create a landing page. The call to action is download this checklist. They got there from that video or the postcard. That's how they got to that landing page to begin with. Once they put their name, email, and click download, the landing page will automatically direct them to that checklist. How many of you would love to have that happen? So if this happens at 2 a.m. in the morning, you don't have to wake up. Michelle doesn't wake up and sees that email, sends out a checklist herself. The system does it for you. She does it herself, but I'm going to teach you how to cheat a little bit so that you're going to enjoy your night's sleep, and then it's going to be sent out
It's automatic.
automatically. Then, as a preview, they're going to be tagged as a home seller, right, on kvCORE. Then we're going to create an automation campaign that will last for 1 year. And it's basically sell with me or whatever, right? You got 1 year to sell. Does everybody want to do that?
Yeah.
Good. Roxana, did I answer your question so far? Okay, good. I answered your question. Let's save questions for our pauses or our breaks so that, because I'm going to be covering it at some point, right? So here's my dashboard. Let's go now to, where is it? Where is it at? Lead engine. You can tell I'm winging this whole presentation, right, Ali? Just kidding. Lead engine, build landing page. This is where the fun stuff begins on kvCORE. Yep. Somebody help
Lead
Janana.
engine build landing page, right?
Lead engine build.
Okay.
This will be available as a replay. If you don't keep up, for the sake of your peers, ask around, but you will get this as a video. Ask Jason for me, please. Okay. We're going to go to lead generation. And guys, sorry, I covered this in the basic training on hardcore training. And that's the reason why I'm going at the pace, because I want you to do much more advanced stuff with it. So if you're not on pace, you've got to go back to that 2-hour training session. Okay. Like we've sort of got a glimpse of this before. Lead generation is what we want, because assuming you created a Facebook ad campaign and Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, or wherever is running your ads, they land on this landing page. You want to create a lead generation campaign. Okay. Now the hashtag, this is important. Pay attention. Don't do anything. This hashtag is what's going to enable our automation campaigns later on. What you put here doesn't have to be exactly what I put here. This is how you tag your own clients. So for example, if you're doing a pre-construction condo campaign, you would put pre-con, right? Here we're doing home sellers. But because I'm a very astute marketer, I want to put the specific campaign that I'm running. So I'm going to put home seller checklist here. Does everybody get what I'm doing? Because I might want to do a home seller evaluation campaign, home seller guide campaign, home seller whatever campaign, home seller seminar campaign. I'm using home seller checklist. That's just my preference. You can do whatever you want, right? Submit button text is what you see here. You see where it says see list now on your screen up there?
You put the hashtag in front of it?
No, you don't put hashtag.
Okay.
Make sure you don't put hashtag. Good question. This button is very important because it should reflect what they will get after they've clicked on that button. So I will put get my checklist now, or I could put get my checklist instantly. Does everybody see that here?
Mhm. Not really.
In my screen here is blank. You know what? I can't control there. See? Get my checklist now. Does everybody see that?
Mhm.
URL after login. This is a really cool part because if you do this right, you're not going to be like Michelle who has to wake up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. whenever these campaigns are running. I'm going to show you a little bit of that. Just give me a few moments. I'm going to finish this page and then I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick for you to be able to use this with some of your existing things that you might have. If you have Google, you can do this. If you have MS Office or whatever, like Docs and all that sort of stuff, you can do this as well. If you have Box, if you have Dropbox, if you have any of that stuff, you can do this as well. But Google is the easiest way to do this, right? If you don't want to be fancy, okay, you'll see what I mean in a moment. Okay, I don't want to confuse you right now. Require phone number. This is a matter of preference for you, whether you want to do this or not. My studies have shown that the number of leads you get will decrease when you start requiring a phone number. Why? Because nobody wants to be called right now.
Yeah.
Right? Remember in your journey, and that's why I opened with this. Remember in your journey, you're very early on. It's like dating. And I use this example a lot. How many of you were married within 24 hours of dating? Mehmet, were you married 24 hours of dating? No? Couple of years, couple of months, couple of days, who knows? Not within 24 hours, certainly not within 6 hours. So why am I going to give you my phone number? Right? If I don't even know you yet. So you got to sort of, engage, build that trust, right? And so this particular journey or funnel, whatever you want to call it, is very early on. This is somebody's thinking of selling. Let's sort of solve one of their problems, which is how do I get their home ready for sale, right? And then what you're going to do in subsequent campaigns. Yes, you will ask for their number at some point, right? What you will do in subsequent campaigns, which I'll show you in the automation part, is you're going to prompt call to actions. Hey, by the way, do you want a consultation? Do you want me to swing by and have a look at your home? Text me your number. Right? We're going to do this at a certain point. But you have to understand, this is not the beginning. We're not asking to get married right here. We're not asking to list their home. We're just saying, hey, here's something that may help you, right? Then we start the automations. That's where we're going to get their phone number. Does that make sense? So from 1,000 people who see this ad, 100 people might request a checklist. Out of those 100, you're going to be marketing them every single week for the next year. 10 of them might raise their hand and say, hey, here's my number. Give me a call. Sell my house. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Background. Here's some fun part. You can choose what background you want, right? Now, in terms of designing this landing page, some of you have your own landing page creation software. Some of them are better than this. I'll be very honest in terms of design, but this is free. This is something you already have, right? So you can choose whatever. If you want to put a foreclosure here and scare everybody off, sell their house, because I'm just kidding. New construction. So you can also upload, well, not upload, you can link to an image yourself as well. We're going to use exterior because this looks pretty nice. Actually, no, this looks like in the US. So let's just use a modern house, something like this. Okay. That looks like a good Canadian house.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this is where we start editing the words on this. So you literally just have to click on each of these. These are preset. You can't add anymore. You can't delete anymore. I mean, if you delete it, it just disappears, right? So here's the headline. And this is where the copy starts to come into play. You can create your own. You can copy me, just like Ali's going to take a picture of what I do so that he doesn't have to give me a review later, right? Or you can ask ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT, going back to it. I can say something like, hey, G, I need a main headline and a sub headline to promote this checklist. Can you please come up with it for me? Okay, main headline, sub headline, done. Copy and paste. Okay. So I don't want to use my brain today. I'm letting AI do all the work today. Now watch. Whoop. Kind of made the text ugly, but I have to modify that, I guess. You know what? The copy and paste isn't working so well. Selling your home, get our free 30-point checklist. Selling your home, get our free 30-point checklist. Okay. And then this one, there you go. So I didn't even have to come up with this stuff myself.
Mhm.
So again, I'm going to email this to all of you who participate in my model. Can you change the font? Good question. I think this is a very specific template that they use. If you are capable of doing advanced things such as CSS, if you don't know what CSS is, then you probably won't be able to do it. Then you can customize certain things like this. Okay. So now there's 4 points there. And I'm like, you know what? It's too early in the morning. I haven't had enough coffee yet. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT. Thanks, G. Can you now give me 4 points as well to further entice them to download this checklist? Keep it short and sweet. No more than 10 words. Me and G, we have a great relationship. Right? So now watch. Maximize your home's value. Right? What else did it tell me to do? Attract more potential buyers. Attract more potential buyers. Sell your home faster. Oh, I love that one. Sell your home faster. Save time and money on costly mistakes. Save time and money on costly mistakes. Now that only gave me the 4 main points, but what about these smaller points here? I can delete them and there'll be nothing, but I can also ask ChatGPT to go further. Great, thanks. Can you give me for each of these points, sub-points that I can that further elaborate on the 4 key points? And I was going to give me the sub-points, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I can just pick one. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, right? So you get what I'm doing so far, though, right? I'll just pick one. Maximize your home values. You know what? I'm lazy, so I don't want to even think about that. Thanks, G. You're amazing. But it's a bit much. Can you just give me 1 point for each, not 3? Here. So now it's gonna. Oh no! You know what? No, you're not listening to me. You know what? Okay, you get the point, though. Fine, right? Fine. Yeah. I'm gonna. We have something to talk about after this session, okay? ChatGPT, right? Okay. So here, but you get what I'm trying to do, right? Trying to come up with points for each. Now, just a matter of just to note, okay? Part of what I'm doing here is for fun, to give you an idea of the kind of things you can do with technology. Do I recommend you straight up just copy and paste this? No. Play around with this format. You see, here's some theory, like real estate marketing theory on the side. When everybody, let's say, for example, all of you create the same landing page, what do you think will be the key differentiating factor that a homeowner would choose you versus somebody else? Okay, now you're all with Remax, right? The layout, it's all the same layout. If all of you use the same thing, and the only thing difference is your, let's say, for example, authenticity. So Ozzy nailed it right there, right? If this, the way it is, sounds a bit AI-ish, and there's no authenticity in it.
Robots.
I just showed you a lazy way to get things done, a lazy but effective way to get things done. But I still want you to inject your personality into this. Because if this has no personality, then what's the point? Like, who are they dealing with here? A robot or a person? Right? So anything you do with these online tools, and there's going to be a lot more of these coming up. Like I can imagine in the near future, you can design an entire postcard. Like some of you use Canva. I use Canva now. But in the near future, I can probably say, hey, Canva, I just listed a home for sale on this street. Can you create a flyer for me? They'll probably do it.
Yeah.
Right? We're not far away from that scary stuff. Hey, Canva, can you, so, hey, AI, can you please door knock for me? They'll probably send a robot out door knocking for me. I'm just kidding. So there's our landing page. Is everybody happy with this so far? Yeah. So now you're able to create landing pages again. If you have trouble up to this point, please rewatch this because I don't expect, I've been doing landing pages for decades now, like over 2 decades. So this stuff is like off the top of my head, I can create this stuff on the fly. Some of you have never seen one or have never done this until today. Please watch this a couple times in order for you to really get what's being done. I also recommend, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to do it. Pay Hallmark Digital Studio to do this for you. You don't like Hallmark Digital Studio? Go to Fiverr. Pay somebody cheap to do it for you. Right? Get your kids to do it for you. Right? Get your spouse to do it for you if they do this kind of stuff. Just my point is, your focus is on selling homes. Like, if this is not natural to you, get somebody else to do it for you. I won't do it for you. I'm sorry. I just watch my tutorials when ask me to do it. Lead type, seller. This is important in the automation campaigns later. So what I did, top right here, lead type, seller. Save. And now it's going to ask me, warning. So once you created a landing page, you will not be able to save or edit it again, right? If you made a mistake, you're going to have to create a new one. I think you can clone or duplicate things, right, Aaron? Yeah. When you click OK, you will be directed to your landing page that you have just created. You've got to bookmark this. Otherwise, you'll probably be able to find it just in the admin. But nobody likes this really long URL, right? So what I'm going to do with this is this. I go back to Mac Center. I go to the URL shortener that I've been telling you guys about. The URL shortener is like Bitly. Bitly is the back end behind this, right? Bitly allows you to create a shortened link. Where's my create? By clicking on create link. So I'm going to call this home sellers checklist. All of this is in your Mac Center, by the way.
Mhm.
I'm going to paste the long one, the long URL. I'm going to click create. And then there you go. There's a short form version. Now, this is okay if you're doing a Facebook ad or online ad, but this is not okay if you're putting this on a postcard, right? Does everybody, do you want to put something like this on a postcard?
No.
No. So there's two options. One, there's a QR code, which is pretty cool. I'll show you how to do that later. But the other is I can edit what this URL is. So I'm going to put KV, home sellers checklist. Now it's going to be a rush for those of you guys who are into this. You're going to secure home sellers checklist first. I know you are. So whoever does that first is great. I just put KV here to give you a chance. But the way this URL shortener works is once somebody takes that URL, nobody else can use it. All of Remax has access to this, right? So you're going to have to come up with variations of how your home seller checklist looks like, right? Does that make sense? Once I put kvCORE, that's why I put KV here, because I don't want to take home sellers checklist. Whoever one of you does it first, great. But now I have a nice, proper looking URL. I copy link, I open my window, I can paste that in. Here's what's really cool about it. It forwards obviously to this really ugly looking URL. But now I can use this, see this short form? I can use this on a postcard, right? I can use this on something else. I can make it shorter if I want. Another cool thing is I can click on QR code and download this QR code. Okay. I'm going to show you what the QR code looks like in a moment. All of you know what the QR code looks like. I'm going to show you what it looks like in a moment. Okay. This is a QR code. And anybody here, or if you're on Zoom and you see this on screen, try going to it and see if it works. It should work. I don't know if it works on screen here, but if not, then it's too many distractions or whatever happening. Does it work for you guys?
Yeah.
Or on your screen? It works. So the way QR code works is that if somebody puts their phone on this, whether it's in a postcard or whatever print or online, even if you're doing it online, they can click on it and guess what happens? It loads up your landing page. So what have I shown you so far? You can now create both a digital ad campaign with this and a print ad campaign. And I'm doing this because a lot of you, based on feedback on my previous classes, try to cover all of your options, all of the bases. So I could go to Canva now, or I can go to Hallmark Digital Studio. There's a hint for you. I can say, hey, Hallmark Digital Studio, I need an ad for this landing page. Here's a QR code. Here's a URL. Can you put this QR code and URL in that ad? I'm not going to show you how to create a postcard on Canva today, okay? That's on you guys if you want to create it. For the sake of time, we're going to focus on the automations next.
Mhm.
All I'm saying is that you've got a lot of options. Hallmark Digital Studio, send them an email, support@hallmarkdigitalstudio.com. John just taught us how to create landing pages. I want to create a postcard with this QR code, this URL, and this is what ChatGPT told me to put on this postcard. Can you create that postcard for me? They'll be more than happy to do that. Okay. Option 2 is go to Canva and do a DIY postcard on your own. That's up to you if you want to do that. Option 3, go to Fiverr, hire a graphic designer who can do it for you. You got a ton of options. I'm showing you where to find the tools for you to be able to do these things.
You said if we make this is not editable if there's a mistake.
The landing page is not editable. You have to create a new one.
How can you erase the old one then?
I think you can delete it.
You can delete it?
Yeah. I'll cover that in the end because that's not one of the more important parts, but you'll be able to do it. The important part to take away there is that make sure your landing page is at least 90% good.
Yes.
And then make sure you know the URL.
Yeah.
Copy what the steps are in this video. That's why I'm doing it step by step.
Yeah.
So that you're able to replicate what I did here. And again, if this is not your forte, Hallmark Digital Studio, they're not paying me to promote it. Hallmark is in-house. Hallmark Digital Studio can do this for you. Roxana.
Where can you see a list of all your landing pages?
Okay, I'm gonna do that in the end. I'm gonna do that in the end.
Because I lost mine. I didn't copy the link, so I don't know where
I'm gonna finish off with that. So just somebody remind me to do that so that I can cover the questions for you guys. Okay. So you know what? We'll take a bit of a 2-minute breather or break. If you have any questions so far, because I gotta check where our sushi is. There you go. Where are we on time, Deidre? Deidre's 12:45 arrival. Oh, wow, okay. I'll extend this class to 12:30 just to get you guys. No, I'm just kidding. Anybody have any questions? Anybody else have any questions so far? No? Yeah, Jason?
The landing page when you create becomes deleted by mistake.
Yes.
How can you go back?
You cannot go back. Once you've deleted it, you have to recreate it. You have to recreate it.
Oh, can you save the draft?
No. So I'll be very, very, very straightforward when I say this. kvCORE is great as a comprehensive service. Is it the best at everything? I'm going to be very honest and I'm going to say no, it's not the best at everything. It's the best at having a all-in-one real estate solution, but it's not going to be the best landing page creator. If you want to create landing pages on other platforms, I can share that with you. That's not the scope of today. But these are the kind of things why this is the love and hate with kvCORE. One of the things I hate about it is the inflexibility of its landing page creation software. They will likely improve in the future. We've given them feedback about all this stuff, but it's not the best landing page creation. It's enough to get you a landing page. Does that make sense? So when you're doing certain things and you can't delete it, or you delete it, it's gone. You can't go back and edit it. These are the kind of things that I don't like about it, but hey, you are able to create one for free.
The things
Basically.
that you taught today, it's in a kvCORE that is available to everybody. There is no
Correct.
fee, right? There's a free part.
This is free. So everything today that you're getting covered so far, you're not paying anything for this, aside from your Remax fees. Roxana, and then we'll go to Ali.
And I think just wanted to add, because we had this struggle before, as you know, we had our CRM in one place, another website. So I think one of the benefits of having the landing pages with all the limitations is that all the leads that you generate directly gets to your CRM with all the tags that you want. You don't need to zap from anywhere or anything. So it's very straightforward. So I like that.
That's exactly it. So Roxana nailed it right there. So the key benefit of using this as your landing page is that it goes right into the automation system that I'm going to show you. Okay. If you're using another landing page like Lead Pages, Instapage, there's a ton of them. HubSpot, MailChimp has landing pages. You have to use something called API. You can use something like a Zapier or whatever. If you know what I'm talking about, great. If not, stick with what you're learning, okay? But there's a ton of different options that you can integrate. But my recommendation is, stick with what you know, stick with the simple part of this. You can create after this basic landing pages. You'll be able to generate leads from it. So like this is all in your control. Okay. Let's move on to where are we going with this? So far we have a landing page. You have the checklist, right? I'm going to show you how to link this checklist. Oh, shoot, that's what I didn't do. Sorry. And this is to Jason's example. I made a mistake. This is not rehearsed. So I made a mistake. And so now I've got to go back and recreate this entire landing page because I forgot to put the URL to where it's supposed to go afterwards, right? So let me show you two things, and then I'm going to get to Roxana's question. One thing I'm going to show you, let me take my screen off actually, no, I know that. How many of you use Google Docs and all that sort of stuff? You do? Yeah. So you're familiar with Google Docs. I'm not going to do a training on that today. If you have it, great. If not, you got to figure that part out. So remember that we have our ChatGPT checklist. If you're using Ozzy's checklist, you just have to upload it to Dropbox or whatever, and then link it from there or Google Drive. But let's say, for example, you don't have any of that stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this checklist into a Google Doc. Okay. Here you go. And it looks ugly right now, but I'm going to go here and I'm literally going to use checkboxes, right? Pretty cool so far, right? I'm going to put a nice, beautiful title here. Home sellers get ready to sell checklist. Now you can ask Hallmark Digital Studio, you can ask Fiverr, you can ask anybody to make this prettier for you. But I'm just talking about the basics right now. Okay, so all of you have access to be able to do this. Google is free, Gmail is free. So I think to a certain extent, you'll be able to do this without having to pay anything for it. And I'm going to do this as a, what is it? Here's my text, paragraph style. We're going to call this a title. Okay, apply title. Does that make sense? Now watch. I'm going to click on share. I'm going to put anyone with the link. I copy this link. Okay. Does everybody remember that when I was creating the landing page, there was a spot up here that says URL after. Does everybody remember that?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. For those of you that don't, I'm going to do the favor of actually going back to building a landing page. Okay. All right. What I should have done before I saved it, because remember with kvCORE, it's do or die, basically. Once you have it done, that's it. URL after login, right? They call it login, but it's really after, see the list now, or whatever the call to action is. Paste that URL of Google Document. Okay. Right. So for the sake of our example, I'm going to redo this. I'm so sorry, guys. Sushi won't come for another half an hour anyway, at least. So you've got time. Okay. We're going to go back to build landing page. We're going to redo this whole thing. I'm sorry, but we're going to redo this. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to try to figure that out right now. I'll do that part in the end. Okay. I'll do that in the end. Get my checklist now. Okay. URL after login. This is what I want to put in here. The Google share link. Does everybody get that? Yes?
Mhm.
Share link?
Only share one at a time though?
What do you mean?
If you only have one thing connected to your landing page, it will be one.
Yes, there's only one URL at a time. So here's the thing. For those of you doing pre-con, and I'll cover this in future sessions. If you're doing pre-con and your call to action is get my price list, floor plans, etc., you have to link this to a Google file folder, not to a specific document. Does that make sense?
Yeah. With the
I'll share that in a future session. That's not for today's session,
Mhm.
but I'll tag team with Sogol on that. But basically, you'd have to share a folder, not a specific file.
Mhm.
So those of you who get what I'm talking about, you know how to do it. Those of you who don't, you'll have to stay tuned for that in the future. Okay. I'm gonna have to rush through this. Okay. Get thinking. This is not ChatGPT. This is Jonder AI. Okay. Thinking of selling. Get your free 30-point checklist instantly. Like as of today. Same day. Okay. Home seller tips, staging advice, common mistakes and pitfalls to avoid, negotiation tips. What's that? Sell faster. Okay, sure. Right? I'm not going to do the whole stuff. Is everybody okay with that? I'm going to skip through that. Okay. Everybody's okay with that? So just to check through this again, lead generation, home seller checklist is my tag.
Mhm.
Get my checklist now is the magical button. The URL I put there is the URL to the checklist. If it's a Dropbox or it's a box or whatever, just you have to find that share link URL. Okay. I don't want the phone number. I'm just, we're not getting married yet. Background, I'll keep it to this. This looks pretty cool actually for this particular checklist.
Mhm.
Lead type seller. Okay. I put my points in there. Email and cell phone is what I'm asking for. I'm not even asking for the name at this point, right? Save. Here's the URL. Okay, this is what it is. So watch what happens. Actually, I needed to do this in order for me to show you the next level of this, which is the automations,
Mhm.
right? Let's pretend we did our shortener of URLs and all that sort of stuff. They landed on this page through the QR code or the postcard, or they typed the URL in, or they did the Facebook or social media, Instagram lead ad or TikTok. I was dancing around like Hamid does on his TikTok videos. And I said, hey, thinking of selling, download your free checklist. Here's a QR code. Actually, they can't snap a QR code when they're watching TikTok, right? Here's the URL, whatever. Here's my email. Here's my cell phone. Get my checklist. Bam. Instantly, they get a checklist,
Mhm.
right? Now, a couple of problems with this. Obviously, this is a Google Doc file. So make sure your settings are correct. Otherwise, you're going to be able to edit this, right? Make sure nobody else can edit it except you, right? I think in a typical share, their default viewer, but don't put this to editor or commenter,
Mhm.
right?
Just be.
Exactly. If you link to a PDF file, they'll get the PDF file. If you link to something else, they'll get that something else. Okay. So you all saw how instant that happened. So basically, taking you back to this first part of this journey, I'm working with, I want to attract a home seller to potentially list and sell their home through me. I'm doing this by identifying what are the key problems that they face and pain point. And the key pain point that I'm addressing is, how do you get your home ready for sale? Because that's one of the most stressful parts of this process. Let me provide clarity and give you a checklist. So I created that checklist. I created a landing page so that that checklist can be promoted and they can download it. I created an ad or a call to action, a video ad using ChatGPT. You can use your own, whatever you want, a script. I created, what do you call it? A copy, short copy for a postcard, right? I took the URL, I shortened it, and I have a QR code. So on my postcards, I have that. On my Facebook ads or social media ads, whatever, I have a shortened URL. And so far, the journey is a home seller sees my video where I'm saying something along the lines of, what did I say again? What did ChatGPT tell me to say? Here's the video, okay?
Mhm.
Are you planning to sell your home but don't know where to start? Let me help you. I've created a comprehensive 30-point checklist to guide you through the process of preparing your home for sale. From decluttering to staging and renovations, my checklist covers everything you need to know to make your home attractive to potential buyers. Request your free download of my checklist now and take the first step towards selling your home with confidence. Just click the link in the description to get started. Okay, that was my script. That makes sense. How much easier can that be for you guys? This is what I was reading. I wanted you to see. And I apologize. I'm a bit congested today, so I sound like pretty bad. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know what's really cool? Let me show something even cooler. This is just a bonus. Okay. How many of you ever heard of Synthesia? How many of you have heard of Synthesia?
No.
Anybody? No? Watch this. I have congestion right now, so I don't sound the greatest. I can go to Synthesia. I don't recommend you doing this as realtors, by the way. Okay, I'd rather see Michelle, Jason, Mehmet, Denisha. I'd rather see you on video. Natalia, I'd rather see you. But watch what's really cool about AI these days is I can literally create something like this. Let's say something like this dude here. Okay. I use this template. And I can choose an avatar. Who looks like a realtor here? This dude here. Jonathan. Not Jonathan Zadigan. This is a different Jonathan. And then I type in here my script. You saw how I did that? Let me scroll down. I copy and pasted the script from one AI to another AI. And I can edit this. Let's delete this. We can put the Read Nice logo. I can do something like this. Thinking of selling. Make your 30-point sellers checks. Okay. Watch.
Are you planning to sell your home but don't?
This won't avatar. I'm going to show you the actual, I'm going to generate this. It's going to process about 9 minutes actually, right? So in less than the time that it would take me to prepare myself, put on my makeup, get my hair done, get my lighting. No, I don't wear
Who are we
makeup.
talking to? Who are?
I want to see if you're still paying attention. In 9 minutes, this will generate. We're going to let it generate. Where is it? We'll let it generate, and I'll show you the kind of cool stuff that you can do with it.
Yeah, exactly. We wake up like that.
Yes, my goodness. AI, you got to give AI a break too, okay? Like just, it's still generating, right? Yeah, still processing.
Do they have celebrities?
Uh,
Or not?
Probably in the near future, they will have that. Meanwhile, while it's generating questions, Roxana, do you have a question? Roxana, do you have a question? Brian's bugging you in the background.
Yes, he is.
Stop, Brian, stop it.
So two
It's a
questions.
question.
One was,
Yes.
I know that you said that landing pages are template, you can't do much with it, but can you add another field to the, like the name field for the,
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. Not. At least not that I know of right now. The template, the way it looks is the way it looks, which is
okay.
yeah.
Number two, we do have.
Sorry, wait, Michelle. Michelle wants to say something.
I saw here and on the side, it does give you an option to change the template.
Sorry, the template you can change.
Here, if you
yeah.
go on the.
Okay, sorry, you know what? Let's get back to it.
corner, you can change it, actually, generation, video view, content hijack.
Okay, good point.
text lead,
So you are
address
able,
capture.
thank you so much for that, Michelle. You are able to change the kind of landing page you do,
Oh, okay,
and it in itself changes certain fields. You're right. Thank
Okay,
you so much
got
for
it.
pointing it out.
so
But as for
I'm-
adding the fields, no, you'd have to
And
use
you can
something
do a
like,
light
yeah.
theme too.
What's that? Yeah, you can do a light theme. Yeah, so I kind of like the dark ones, but if you like a light color, you can do light color. So thank you so much for that, Michelle.
Thank you.
And then the lead type, yeah, that's still the same thing there.
Okay.
So yeah, unfortunately, you can't add fields, but you are able to change the different types.
Okay,
Let's see
so
what our AI is doing.
number two question, because we are our kvCORE account is a team account, so we have our members, team members, and the account. So we have, then it assigns different websites for each of us. How
That's
do
right.
I make sure that I add or create my landing page under the correct website, or does it even matter?
You have to log in to whomever the landing page will go to. So if you're a team leader,
Yes,
the lead will go to you and your team, and then you have to create distribution rules. So that's another topic for another advanced session. But you can also do like round robin. You can do first person to take the lead takes it, whatever. So if
Right.
you're individual agent, this doesn't matter. But if you're in a team, your team members can create their own landing pages. But you as a team leader could create your own landing page. And when you create your own, did you bring the sushi, Marco?
Not me, it's not.
If you bring your own, if you bring your own, if you create your own as a team leader, you can choose who to distribute the lead to. So team leader will
Right.
be able to create a landing page, and the lead distribution rule, you can create a rule to who to send it to. A team member, my presumption is they have their own individual landing page and it would go to them. Obviously, the team leader would have access to that lead, but they won't be able to, distribute it to other team members unless they share it. Like you can create sharing rules
so,
as well.
so for example, I'm the team lead is Brian, so I'm logged in as Brian. First of all, I see two team websites, number
Yes.
one and number two, I don't know why. And then there is a website for Brian, there is a website for me. So when I followed what you said, go under lead engine and then create the landing page. To create that landing page under Brian's personal website, is there a way for me to change that?
Can you change that? I'd have to discover. Has anybody had any experience with that? Michelle, do you have any experience with that?
Sorry, I was not listening.
No.
Okay,
Can
so maybe
you-
it's something that I have to call kvCORE for, huh?
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Yeah, can you
Okay.
reach out? Yeah, can you reach out to kvCORE support? I'll kind of see. I haven't encountered that myself, so I'm gonna have to find out and
Okay.
see if there's a. Yep.
All right, and it probably
Yes.
doesn't matter though, unless I guess when it comes to the lead distribution, then you want to know, probably it matters which website you create a landing page from. But if it's just a lead generation, it could be any of these websites because
Yeah, so
people don't really
the
care,
way I
right?
would look at it is, you got to create the. So I think I know sort of what you're trying to get at. Maybe I'm wrong, but you might have one campaign, but a couple of one landing page with multiple different campaigns feeding to it. Is that what it is? And you're trying to.
No, I just want to make sure that when I create that landing page, it is something that I can later distribute leads to the team members. Because right
Yes,
now
you
it's
can.
that it's
So-
under Brian's personal website, not the team website.
With kvCORE, as long as you're the team leader, you're able to set distribution rules. With also with kvCORE, and we'll cover this in another advanced training. You can assign team members I
Right,
think you can manually, even you're not a part of a team, you can sort of create a pool. There's something called pool. We
right,
experimented this at Bayview Village, like we created a Bayview Village pool.
yeah.
You can put people into that pool,
Mhm.
right? And then you can create lead distribution rules for that. So that's a bit more advanced.
Right,
My main goal
Yeah.
here today is to get you a lead, right?
sure.
So for you to be able to create something for you to be able to get a lead. Okay. Anybody
Yeah.
else have any questions for that?
I like it. Thank you so
we're
much.
gonna- You're welcome, Rosanna. We're gonna go a bit over time if that's okay with you. We're still waiting for the food anyway, so I'm sure some of you are. What's that?
I have to leave soon.
You have to leave soon. Okay. So for those of you who are willing to stick around, I'm going to cover really quickly the automation parts because, yeah, it's not going to be as extensive as the creation of landing pages because there's a lot of campaigns already pre-made. But I'm going to show you two different options. One is to use one of the pre-made campaigns. The other is to create your own campaign using AI again. But yeah, we'll be able to do that. In the meantime, just to take a bit of a break from that, here's our AI video.
Are you planning to sell your home but don't know where to start? Let me help you. I've created a comprehensive 30-point checklist to guide you through the process of preparing your home for sale. From decluttering to staging and renovations, my checklist covers everything you need to know to make your home attractive to potential buyers. Request your free download of my checklist now and take the first step towards selling your home with confidence. Just click the link in the description to get started.
It looks so real. It looks like he's even reading off of a script, eh?
Whoever you are, it cannot be worse than this. Do it yourself.
The lesson here is do it yourself, okay? What you're selling is you in real estate. People know, like, trust you, and choose you as a realtor. So I just showed you a way not to do it,
Yeah.
okay? Is that fair? Okay, good. Now let's go to automations. Let's go to automations and level up with our automations. So the whole point of automations is to make your life easier. So in a landing page, redirecting to the actual checklist or whatever you're giving away, that's a very simple automation because that's just literally a redirect. But imagine an automation where once they've submitted this and they're tagged as home seller checklist, because that was a campaign, they're going to, or you're going to create a campaign, a 52-week campaign, where every single week, they're either going to get a phone call from you, a text message from you, an email from you, a postcard or a letter from you. And all you've got to do is basically follow the system. How many of you would love to do something like that? Right? So with kvCORE, there's already a process in place to allow you to do this by default. And it's called Smart Campaigns. So you go into marketing and Smart Campaigns. And you can choose already from here. Companies created some. kvCORE has a library of campaigns. What these smart campaigns are a collection of different tasks, emails, text messages, actions, basically telling you what to do or the system doing it itself. So for example, the system might send a text message after X number of days. It might tell you, hey, Ozzy, call this person who requested your checklist a week ago. It could send them an email. Hey, did you get the checklist? By the way, are you curious about how much homes are selling for in your area? It might tell you, hey, send a thank you letter to this person, thanking them for downloading your checklist and asking them if they have any more questions. So a smart campaign is essentially that. It's a collection of different tasks, different functions that automates the follow-up process because all of you are great at follow-up, right? That's why you don't lose any business. All of you are fantastic at follow-up. True or false?
False.
You suck at follow-up.
So it is on kvCORE library, you can find that?
Yes, exactly here. So all I did was went to marketing, smart campaigns, and here. Now, if you're happy with these campaigns, all you've got to do is click on default active buyer. And here's a task, for example, they immediately system tells the agent to check in. And what does that look like? Reminder, check in with contact or update contact status. So this appears on your system as a check-in task. So this is an example of a task-based, and this goes for like 196 days at the bottom of the screen. So for like, what, half a year or something like that, it's going to show you that. I might type in here seller, for example. For our campaign, I want to choose a seller campaign. So default active seller, right? Immediately a task. So day 7, a weekly check-in. These are all tasks. But what if I want emails? What if I want text messages? What if I want videos to be sent out? What if I want handwritten notes to be sent out? right? So kvCORE has a library of all these things. You can choose what you want from it. At the same time, if you want to create your own, I'm going to show you how to do that, right? But here's the thing. I'm going to go into my smart CRM right now, see if our lead worked. Just bear with me 1 second. It's loading up. So John Perez as our home seller active lead, right? You're welcome. Where did it go? I think it kind of messed up because, oh, there it is, right there. So kind of messed up, and I'll tell you why. Is because I was already registered as a lead in my own system because I love playing around with this stuff. I should have deleted myself. But look what happened to my lead here. You see home sellers checklist and a whole bunch of other ones. The reason why is, again, I'm already in my own CRM system. If I created a fictional seller, which I should have done, you know what, maybe that is what I should do. Okay. For the sake of this example, I'm going to create a fictional seller. I'm going to call it Jason Lee. Okay. 416 967 1111. Okay. Actually, no, this is not going to work either because Jason is also in my system too. I'm going to make up an email. Okay. So JP plus made up email at johnner.com. This is a Google or Gmail trick that you guys know if you're using this. 699 6894. I'm in trouble now. Get my checklist now. Okay, watch. So this is the reason why I did that. So on the system, obviously, like this is just the example, so don't pay much attention to what happened after that. But I can go into my system now, and I think I did JP plus, what did I say? Made up what? Email. Is that what I put? Yeah, there it is. So here's what happened. You directed somebody to your landing page. They typed in their email and their phone number. Was it cell phone number optional or what? It was optional, right? Yeah. And they got tagged this. You see that? Now that's fantastic, but guess what? Nothing's going to happen. That's the bad news. The good news is you're able to make something happen, and I'll show you how. Knowing that this is my tag, I'm going to create an automated marketing campaign such that whenever somebody goes to that landing page and gets tagged as this, an automatic smart campaign will initiate, and it will start for like whatever, 52 weeks, 100 and whatever weeks, et cetera, et cetera. Now I can also do it manually. So when you're in the contacts, I can go into a manual campaign here. So active campaign. So pay attention to this if you want to do it. Like Michelle, she likes to do it manually. She's up at 4 a.m. now. She's been up all night. She wants to add a manual campaign. She sent the checklist manually and she's adding this manually, right? I can choose a campaign here. You see that? Default active seller, add. The moment I add this, it's now going to initiate that smart campaign. Does that make sense? What does that mean? At the selected points of that campaign, it will do the specific tasks and functions that I've asked it to. Yes, Ali.
So you're gonna do this for every person that signs up, or can you do it so that automatic for anyone that signs up?
It will be automatic. It will be automatic if you set it up properly.
Okay.
Right? You have to do it manually like this if you did not set this up properly.
Gotcha.
Which I'm going to show you how to set it up properly. You didn't miss anything yet so far. In this example, I haven't set up my smart campaign. A hashtag lead came in. We were just tagged home seller checklist. And so I had to do it manually, right? I don't want you doing it that way. You're busy. You're better off sleeping at night. Don't be like me. I'm up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. sometimes. It's a whole other story. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to create smart campaigns that automate this. So watch, okay? So I'm going to create a campaign. Now I can either use one of these existing ones, but I like to be fancy, right? So I'm going to go back to my friend G, and I'm going to tell G, hey G, whoops, hey G, hello, hey G, can you please create for me how long do you want to go? 3 years? How many years? 100 and so 52 times 3, 6, 15, 156 a week drip campaign comprised of texts, emails, tasks, follow-ups, handwritten letters, videos, etc. And this drip campaign is to remind a home seller that they downloaded the home seller checklist above, and that I'm here to help them out when they're ready to sell. 156-week campaign, go. Week 1, week 4, week 8, week 12, week 16. Oh, stop. You know what? Sorry. Sorry, G, I should have been more specific. When I said 156 weeks, I meant every week should have an action. Now it's going to go through every single week. Okay, it's going to give me every single week. Thanks, Siri. All right. So what am I showing you here? The whole thing with ChatGPT and all this, while this is creating this, and I kid you not, I'm going to sit here while it creates that for me. Actually, no, wait a minute. It stopped. Repeat the cycle for delivery to each. Oh, okay. It cheated. ChatGPT told me, take this 24 weeks and repeat it. Sorry, G, I don't want to. Can you write out the full 156 weeks? And maybe make enough variations on the 24-week version that I could literally take 156 weeks of this and execute. Okay. So my whole point is this, like ChatGPT and all these AI tools will help you. It's like a virtual assistant. I could go to Fiverr. I can ask a virtual assistant, hey, can you do this for me? And in 24, 48 hours, maybe 1 week from now, it's going to be done. I've used Fiverr before. Like some of these guys take a long time. Or I can type something like this in. Now, I'm not just going to copy and paste this and be happy with it. I mean, obviously, you have to inject your own personality and stuff into this. That's number one. Number two, this is just an outline. What do I mean by that? When it says send an email, it doesn't have the actual email yet. So what do you have to do? You've got to go back to weeks 4, weeks 8, weeks 20, week 100. And you're going to have to ask the system, hey, can you write up an email for me? Right? So, for example, this thing stopped. Provide advice on how to handle lowball offers. Can you help me write the email about that? Okay. So now it's telling me what email to write as well. This simplifies the process. It helps ease up the thinking that's required for this. But I don't want you to just, you literally could just copy and paste this. But imagine 100 agents doing that same thing. Everybody's going to sound like robots, 1,000 agents, 70,000 agents. My recommendation is take this as a starting point, and I'll give this to you as a starting point. But please make it your own. Does that make sense? You don't have to do 156 weeks. I just want it to be hardcore and show you what the capacity is of the system. It could be 52 weeks. Like if you look at here, I did a 52-week campaign, right? For example. I mean, it ended here because I stopped it because I was getting bored of it, generating all of this response, right? But the point is, you can now create your own automation campaigns without even having to read up on how, what do I say, what do I do? The system generates this for you, okay? So to wrap up now, I'm going to give you this is our final few minutes, and then we're going to open it up to question and answer, and also try to find some certain things and where they are. But to create my own campaign that this AI has generously created for me, I click Add Campaign. You may not see this on your screen because I see this from the company perspective. You're just going to see probably yourself here as an agent, so don't worry about it. This part just says company. Goodness sakes, don't tell me it's glitching. This was fine when I did this yesterday. Okay, but anyway, let's try it. So watch, follow along with me on screen. For those of you who are here, for those of you on Zoom, you won't have any problem doing that because you're looking at your screen. Hashtag is home seller checklist. Okay, this is going to answer Ali's question. Don't worry about advanced triggers and all that sort of stuff. I click on, always run yes, locked. I just put no. Just don't worry about those options. Just keep it the way they are. Click on next. Campaign is designed for seller. Okay. not a buyer. Click buyer. Oops, sorry, seller. Next, campaign name, home seller checklist. Campaign description. This is the automated smart campaign that will be initiated when a home seller downloads their home seller checklist. Okay, always run. Ali will put yes. What this means is that from my landing page, somebody says they want to download that home seller checklist. They click on that button. They get put into my kvCORE system. They get tagged home seller checklist. This campaign will always run from that point on. Be very careful with smart campaigns, because if you don't know what your campaign, like if you arbitrarily pick one of these campaigns and you had no idea that its intention is to mass send emails every single week, right? You got to stop it. You go to that active campaigns, you got to delete the campaign from that particular contact, right? So make sure you know what you're doing before you play around with this stuff. Some of you who did the hardcore training, you had kvCORE upload your entire list for you. You told them, yes, activate all the campaigns. Guess what happened? The entire sphere, your entire database was starting to receive massive amounts of emails and texts. You got to be careful when using this, because there you go. Jason did that. In as much as this is a very powerful tool, you got to learn how to control that power, because it is too powerful, right? The people that have never heard from Janan for years, right? All of a sudden, every week, every day, might start to get emails. Janan smiling, like, yeah, I want that. I want that to happen. But you don't want that to happen, right? Be careful. So now watch. This is the add new campaign. This is what it looks like. I click finish. Now there's the fun part of actually going in. Where did it go? Checklist. There. See this? Now there's the fun part. It's not on yet, but there's a fun part of week to week. I can now create the action plan. Okay. Now, for those of you who are looking at smart campaigns, can you clone campaigns? Yes, you can. Can you remove? You can. Can you share campaigns? I can share this with maybe my own, like with you guys, with my teammates, all that sort of stuff, right? But now I'm going to click on add action. The choices you have here, I'll get to Jason afterwards, okay? The choices you have here, I hope you guys can't see it on your screen there, because I'll read it to you for those of you on Zoom, if you can't see the whole thing. Every week or every day, if you want to do it every day or every month, whatever you want to do, you can send either an email, a text message, a task, right? So an email means the system sends out an email that you format. A text means the system will send out a text using the smart number or your smart number if you have it, the smart number of the office or your smart number. A task means kvCORE will add a task on your calendar and email you this task that, hey, you got to call this person, or hey, handwrite a note to this person. A call means kvCORE will tell you, call this person today. It's been a week or 2 weeks or whatever. Adding a tag means you can also add tags. You can also remove tags. So for those of you who are more advanced, okay, let's use pre-con, because pre-con is one of the most craziest things you can do on this. The pre-con initial campaign might be investing in pre-con campaign, but then you might add a tag to them for a specific project all of a sudden, right? Or it could be the other way around. They inquired about a specific project, and so they are, somebody name me a project that you sold recently. Somebody's selling projects.
Union City.
What is it? Union City? Union City. So let's say I created a Union City landing page. They clicked on Union City, download my floor plan and all that sort of stuff. They get tagged Union City, but I want to add a tag pre-con investor, right? That's what you use this for. Or you can click remove tag. Why? On the 52nd week, if they have not sold through me, I want to remove home seller checklist. I want to add follow up for life seller. And then it creates a different campaign. So you can create, there's like infinite possibilities of the different campaigns you can create here, right? And that just sky's the limit. Like I'm just showing you the foundation of it, but each and every single one of you could literally design like an entire, bunch of follow-up campaigns, whatever campaigns, like anything you think of. And if you're doing this right, like this is one of those things where if you hesitate to spend the time to do this kind of stuff and learn this kind of stuff, Down the road, you get busy and you forget about doing it. I was in a meeting with one of our newest Hallmarkers who just recently joined us, and we were talking about systems, right? This is one of those things where if you create the system once and you let it run, you don't have to think about it ever again. Your follow-ups, you don't have to think about it again because the system's telling you, hey, Natalia, call this person. It's been 3 weeks since they went to that open house. Call this person, right? So that's one of the amazing parts of it. Now, I'm not going to show you this like entirely because you now get the point, right? Of how to start creating your own campaigns. Otherwise, we'd be here all afternoon. But basically, I can go to either, ChatGPT, or I could go to an article that I read, and it tells me what to do in terms of follow-ups and whatnot. But then all I would do is basically create a task. So for example, email template, I can create emails. I can choose templates, which can be edited as well, or I can create my own template. So for example, if I could create my own from scratch. If I wanted to, let's say, for example, let's see, buyer, seller, let's look for a seller template. Where's a seller template? Let's type a seller here. Seller selling your house, right? It pulls up that templated email and it says, just wondering if you ever put your house on the market. I thought you might have, right? It's a quick, simple message. But I could also create my own subject. Hi, did you get the checklist I sent you? Right? Just wanted to send you a quick note to see if you were able to download the checklist I sent you. Give me a shout anytime. Right? Action settings. I can put the name, initial email, for example, checking in from, obviously, from my agent to the contact. Run immediately, or immediately means right away. They put into your system. This also automates the process of sending this out. Or I can choose days. 1. What this means is that they've gotten the checklist today. Tomorrow, they're going to receive an email from me that says, hi, did you get the checklist I sent you? I can even be crazy and I can put, did you get the checklist I sent you yesterday? So no matter what day of the year I'm doing this, it looks like I'm connected, and I am in fact connected and in touch with my client, because this smart campaign is relative to their time period. So they went on Michelle's landing page, they downloaded the checklist. Tomorrow they receive this email that says, hey, did you get the checklist I sent you yesterday? This is cheating. If you want to, go ahead. That's up to you, right? That's up to you. The question is it cheating? I mean, it's up to you. So if Natalia wants to do the hard work, okay, thanks for that. I'm going to click Save Changes here. Actually, you must provide a template name.
Professional, I don't think it's cheating. It just shows your.
Maybe you have to inform them, let them know, you receive all of communication from me, it's really me, just.
The answer to that is it's up to how you want to run your business, right? But Natalia is a hard worker. She wants to be 100% authentic. She hates automations like this. So for Natalia, this is what I would do. Add action, task, manually and painstakingly send an email. Okay. I'm just being sarcastic.
On the landing page, it says it down below.
Yeah.
By filling out this information, to give us initial contact.
Yeah, the contact is, yeah. So Natalia's question is it fair that it's an AI doing it or that it's a computer doing it, right? Yeah. So watch content, send this contact an email with the following words, right? Blah, blah, blah. So for Natalia, she wants to do it manually, manual email follow-up. But here's the thing. What's the difference between me copying and pasting this and the system doing it itself under your name, right? So this is where you got to sort of start to learn to leverage technology. That's the whole point of using kvCORE's system or any CRM that you're using, is to leverage the technology. It's going to look like it's coming from you. And if you think about it, it is coming from you because you created this campaign, right? You were the one who initiated this campaign. What we're talking about here is a business. So what do I mean by that? I'll finish off with this thought. When you learn to leverage technology, you're able to start scaling to a point where you can service more clients effectively because the mundane stuff, the stuff that's repetitive, the follow-up where we drop the ball a lot, all of that stuff is now done for you. You created that system. So it is you, Natalia, right? It is technically you, right? Like an assistant. Should an assistant be the one to communicate to the client every single thing about a transaction? Or should you as an agent do that? Right? It really depends. The answer is it depends on how you want to run your business. If you want to run a 100, 200, 500, $1 million business, it all depends on how you use these tools in order for you to be able to do that. Roxana, you have a question?
Could you show me where to see the list of all the landing pages?
Yes.
Right.
So we're going to do that as our finale for you, Roxana. How do
Okay.
you get a list of your landing pages? So you go to Lead Engine. Instead of Build Landing Page, click on All Lead Engine Tools. You see landing page as one of them.
Mhm.
You can click Start Building here, or you can click on Past Landing Pages. So if you forgot, and this is me actually, you won't see this. You'll see Past Landing Pages. These are all the landing pages you created. So now you can, like Jason, he forgot the link. You can click on Copy Link. You can see how many times it was viewed. You can click on View. I don't think you can delete this still, right? So I think once you've made it, it's there for life, right? So yeah, there you go. Does that help? Any questions?
And here is where it gives me the option of all 4 landing pages that we have. So I have to figure out how we pick which one. So I remember which landing page I'm creating these, which website I'm creating these landing pages on. So
Yeah, exactly. So there you go.
I'll ask kvCORE. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have any questions? Jason?
If you go to marketing smart campaign, there's preset campaigns.
That's right, yes.
So do you have any recommendation, and also what's the difference between office and company?
So good question. So do I have any recommendations? My recommendation is you go through the smart campaigns and choose one that you feel is relevant. I know that's a very open, like I know it didn't really give you much clarity on that, but for these campaigns, you've got to think to yourself, if I was in my client's shoes, what would I want to receive? Right? So you got to read these campaigns. There's no shortcut to that, unfortunately. Read the campaigns. To me, they're very basic. You can do much better than that, but obviously it's basic for a reason. It's just to give you a sort of a head start. Company versus, there's a library there, company or office. So for example, I saw Michael creating some of these. I create some of these campaigns as well. We share them to the company. You basically have to take the smart campaign, and I think it's like you basically bring it into your own kvCORE setup is how you do that. So for example, if I go to smart campaigns, I go to kvCORE's library, for example, and I see something in there that I like, I would click here, add to my library. Does everybody see that? So kvCORE has a ton, like 29 different campaigns, right? Templates, you can modify that. That's something else. We'll go to that in another session. But essentially, these templates are, the emails, the texts, the videos. Those are the templates that are there. My campaigns. This was created by company.
What company?
Our company, made by Hallmark, or was created by you. So if I put checklist here, this was created by me, right? Actually, no, it says company. Well, that's because I have company access account, right? So there you go. Anybody else? Remember too that because I created this just as an example, it's not I don't think this one is particularly available to the entire company. Like we do create campaigns. It is? You saw it already? Yes, there you go. So then it was shared to everybody. Yeah.
So my question for that is though, you can add action to individual action.
Yes.
How do you add an entire drip campaign?
You have to do it one by one.
Oh, you gotta go and
Yep.
grab the email individually.
Exactly. So yeah, there is still some work involved in being a real estate agent. So when you have a smart campaign, you literally have to click add action here. But what is that specific email? I think I gave you an example about this earlier, Ali, is that I asked ChatGPT, hey, can you actually write up that email?
Right.
Can you suggest a text that I can use, right? So
You could add them straight from the kvCORE.
Yep. Oh, so from kvCORE, yeah.
Like adding the task individually,
Yes.
can we just add the entire drip campaign from the home sellers.
Good
that's
questions.
already built in.
So watch, so if I go back to kvCORE, question, if I go back to kvCORE and smart campaigns, all I have to do is go to kvCORE's library. And let's say, for example, I'm looking for a seller campaign. There's several seller campaigns, right? So for example, this is a default one. Channels are tasked, right? How many touches there are. Now, if I want to have multiple channels, email, text, connect, call, I would pick one of these ones, obviously.
Right.
But then I would have to now go in and check and see if this is what I like. Right. So for example, here's the days. It starts at day 30 for this one. That's why I encourage you create something that you're happy with, that you like. But that, so for example, watch. This is an email. I click on view. This is the email that's going to be sent out. It's already pre-typed for you.
Right.
So if you're using a kvCORE one, it is pre-typed.
Right.
And all you've got to do is a matter of bringing that in from the kvCORE library to yours. And then you rewind this video and look at where it selects the campaign to activate. Anybody who's tagged this,
Right.
this is the automation I want.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. We'll see you in our next advanced level up kvCORE training session. Thanks everybody for joining us. Bye for now.